Greetings and welcome to the Frights 5, a top 5 from the world of scary films, TV and games tied to the theme of my next horror report. You can find a link to the related video in the card link above or description below. Let me know in the comments if you agree with my rankings and what your number 1 would be. Number 5. Freaks 1932. The Todd Browning cult classic tells a story of deception and wrath set against the backdrop of a travelling circus. A beautiful trapeze artist seduces the wealthy leader of the company's sideshow performers with the intention of stealing his money once they're married. However, things don't go to plan, and this tight-knit community take justice into their own hands in the most brutal way imaginable. The film was subject to disastrous early screenings and was considered a box office bomb on release. However, years later, the film was rediscovered by new audiences and reappraised as a film ahead of its time. Number 4. The Crow, 1994. A dark fantasy directed by Alex Proyas, the film sees a murdered rock musician come back from the dead as what's essentially a goth superhero to deal out revenge on the organised crime gang that killed him and assaulted his fiancée. It's difficult to talk about this film without mentioning the tragic death of Brandon Lee in the lead role, tragically taken from the world at just 28 due to an accident on set. The film has a style all of its own and an amazing soundtrack. A definite recommendation from me. Number 3. American Mary, 2012. A crazy Canadian body horror from the twisted imagination of the Soska sisters. Mary, a medical student played by the brilliant Catherine Isabelle, gets drawn into the world of underground surgery for financial gain. She then uses these contacts to help her right an unforgivable wrong perpetrated against her by someone she should have been able to trust. One of the most impressive things for me in this crazy film is that there are no visual effects used on Mary's clients. Everything is achieved with practical effects and using real-life members of the body modification community. If you're watching my videos, I'm sure you'll enjoy this one. Number 2. The Woman, 2011. Lucky McGee's sequel to 2009's The Offspring is a straight-up brutal US revenge horror movie. A country lawyer captures what he sees as a feral woman while out on a hunting trip and brings her home to civilise her. As you can imagine, as it's on this list of revenge films, all does not go well for the lawyer and his seemingly picture-perfect family. Things get weirder and darker as the film plays out, and by the end the chaos reaches fever pitch. It's great to see that the US can still produce freaky films like this. Number 1. Martyrs, 2008. Okay, the big one. A film that sits at the number 1 not only on this list, but also takes a high spot in my personal top 10 films of all time. A French psychological horror directed by Pascal Laugier that is the jewel in the crown of the new French extremity movement. Despite the director not agreeing with this accolade, the story centres around a young woman's quest to avenge the crimes perpetrated against her as a child. A terrifying spiral of events are then visited upon her best friend as a fallout from this obsession for revenge. I'm not going to divulge too much information on this one. It really is best to go in with no prior knowledge of what will happen and experience it for yourself. Failing that, subscribe to the channel and you'll see a horror report on Martyrs in the near future. Click here for another top 5 or horror report, and as always, please hit the like and comment below if you enjoyed this video. It's free for you and it means a great deal to me. Thanks and stay spooky.